Hey guys, this is Subhashish Mishra, your test coach. In this video, we will learn how to locate web elements in Cypress. In our last video, we have already learnt about what is Cypress and what are the different features Cypress has. We have seen how to install Cypress and we have written our first test case. If you have not watched those videos, please do watch it. I have explained everything step by step. I will always recommend to watch the complete playlist, then only you will able to understand everything in detail. I will also provide the playlist link in the video description. Okay, so let's start. The very first thing we will understand is what is locator. Okay, so locator is a technique to identify a web element uniquely within a web page. Then you will have a question, what is web element? So anything that is present on the web page is a web element. For example, you see a text box, you see a button, you see a drop down. So all these things are one web element. So if I'll take you to this website automationpractice.com, so here whatever you see, right, here you can see one search box. So this is one web element. Here you see sign in button. So if this is a button, this is also a web element. So if I'll click here in the sign in button, so let me show you, let it load. Okay, so here you see one text box where you can enter the email address, so, or here you can enter some password. So all these things are one web element. Okay, so anything that is present on a web page is a web element. Okay, then why we need locators? So we use locators to identify web elements in a web page, and once we locate those elements successfully, then we can perform the action by certain actions or methods. So first you need to identify it. For example, you want to enter some text here, right? How you will do it through your automation code? First you need to identify this using your locator, then only you can perform some actions. For example, here we are entering some text. Okay, so this is one action. For example, here you are clicking, so click is one action. Okay, first you need to identify this button where it is located, then only you can perform your action. Okay, different actions are like click on a button, enter text in a text box, like that. Okay, so in UI automation, two important things are identifying the web element using locators and then performing actions on that. Okay, so if you guys know Selenium, there are 8 different types of locators present in Selenium. So ID, name, class name, link test, partial link test, tag name, CSS selector, XPath. So these are 8 different types of locator mechanism present in Selenium, but Cypress only supports CSS selectors. Okay, so the CSS selector is very similar to your jQuery selector. Okay, and Cypress only supports CSS selector. So we will use CSS selector in all our Cypress automation code. Cypress can support XPath selector as well, but that is not supported by default. We need Cypress XPath external plugin to support XPath selector. Okay, so that is not by default. If you need it, you need to install one external plugin, that is Cypress XPath. Okay, by default it is CSS selector. Okay, so in our all automation code we will use CSS selector for Cypress. Okay, then we can write CSS selectors in multiple ways. For example, you can use ID, you can use class or any other attribute for a web element. Okay, then you can write your custom CSS selector also. In this different attribute you can use substring, you can use inner text. We'll see in detail. Okay, so the very first thing we will understand what is CSS selector ID. Okay, so here you see one hash symbol. Okay, so it is used for ID attribute. Okay, so it is mandatory to use the hash sign if we are using the ID attribute. to create a CSS selector. Okay, I'll show you with an example. So if we'll go to the website, that is automationpractice.com, and here we have a search box. Okay, so for example, we want to locate this and we want to enter some text here, right? So let me just do a right click and inspect. Okay, so here you can see what are the different tags available. So here you see one ID is there, right? ID search query tab. So let me just copy it and we will write, you will just do command and F, or if you are using window you can do control and F. So here you can see search query tab. So what I told you, you have to use hash for this, right? So how you will use this then? You have to use hash, then exactly this one, whatever we have written here, right? So let me do that. So now you see this is getting highlighted and this place is also getting highlighted, right? And here you see 1 of 1, right? So when I am clicking enter, this field is getting highlighted. So we will use this CSS selector to write our test case, right? So to write our test case, let us go to our Visual Studio Code. So earlier you have seen we have written this test case. Let me create one more JS file. So I'll just copy it and paste it here, and I will rename it. So for example, I will rename it to locators.js, and let me close the old one. So here I will remove one IT block. So I hope you have already seen these videos, why we write describe, why we write IT and all. If you have not watched it, please do watch it. Okay, so here what I will write, I will write Cypress locators. Anything you can give, any describe, whatever you want to write here you can write. Okay, so here let it be my test case 1, and here we will give this URL. Okay, automationpractice.com. Okay, you know why we give this CY.title, we are just verifying the title. Here we don't need it, let me remove it. So here what we are just doing, we are just visiting to this automationpractice.com website. Then what we want to do, we want to identify this and we want to enter some text here. So to identify, what you need to do, you need to write cy.get. You have to use cy.get method, and then what you need to do, you need to use this exactly whatever is the CSS you have written, right? You can write inside the double quote, and here you can put this one, search query tab. Okay, then what you need to do here, once you find this, then you need to enter some text, right? So for that, what you can do, you can just write dot and type. Okay, what you want to type, that you need to write here. For example, we want to search for some dresses. Okay, so we will write dress. Okay, so it will type, it will find this and it will type dress here. Okay, then maybe you can click on this button. Okay, so to do that, what we will do, we will just identify what is there, right? So inspect. So here again you see we have a class name. Okay, so for example, I will use this one, name equal to submit search. Okay, so don't worry now how we are writing it. Okay, I will explain you when we will understand about this attribute things. For now, let me just write the CSS selector, that's all. Okay, so here what I will do, I will write name equal to submit search. Okay, it is identifying, that's fine. I'll just use single quote. Okay, let me just copy it, and here what I will write, cy.get, then here inside double quote I will write this, and then what we want to do here, we want to click it, right? So dot click. Okay, and then maybe we will give some weight. So cy.weight. So for example, I want to wait for 5 seconds. So I will give 5000. Okay, and here also if you want you can give. Okay, let me remove here, let it be there only. Let me remove these things. Okay, that's all. Now we will execute this. What is happening, we will see whether we are able to identify it or not. Okay, one more thing, maybe you will have this question, right? What is this dot get method, right? So this dot get method is used in Cypress to find multiple elements in the DOM. Okay, so the method accepts a parameter in the form of identifier. So whatever locator or identifier you will use, you need to pass it inside this get method. Okay, so cy.get, then you have to give the locator, and as we are typing it here, we are just writing dot type then dress. Here also cy.get, then we are using attribute name equal to submit search, then dot click. Okay, so let us execute and see whether it is doing it perfectly or not. So first thing what you have to do, you have to open the Cypress. So what is the command you will use? npx cypress, then open. Okay, let it open. Now we see two different JS file. We need to execute this locator.js. Let me click on this. So now we see it is going to this automationpractice.com website. Okay, so let it open here. You can see it clearly. So it is taking some time. Yeah, it is loading now. Okay, now it should identify. See here it is entering dress. Okay, now it should click on this. Okay, it clicked. If you would have observed, it clicked. Okay, you can see now different dresses here it is showing, right? And here also you can see what we did, right? We visited this, then this is the CSS selector we used, okay, to search, and here you can see also it is highlighting, right, when I'm just hovering over on this, right? Similarly, all these things you can see, right? What are the different actions we did. So now you saw how we used ID locator, and then we identified the search box, and then we type this, right? Similarly, we will see class locator, right? We need to understand about this class. Okay, so again, like ID we are using hash, for class we need to use dot. Okay, so dot sign is used for class attribute. Okay, so let me show you that through an example. Okay, we will use the same example. So let me go here, and again let me just do a inspect. Okay, so now you see we have here also you can see input class equal to search query form control SE input, right? So let me just copy this, and here what I will do, I will just paste it. Okay, let me remove these things. Okay, and for class what you need to use, you need to use dot. Okay, so just use dot. Okay, it is not taking because there are in between some space. So what we will do, we will just write dot sc underscore input. I'll just remove everything. Okay, still it is taking, right? You can see this is identifying. Okay, we will use dot sc underscore input. So wherever there is a space, maybe you can remove that part. So that will also work, right? So dot sc underscore input we will use. So let us go to our code, and what we will do here, I'll just comment this line, and instead of this locator, ID locator, we will use class locator. All right, so let me comment this line and let me paste it here. So you will remove this only, right? Instead of this, what we will do, we will use dot sc input. Okay, all other things remain same. Okay, now we will see how it is executing, right? So let me just save it and let's execute that. So now you see it is getting executed. Okay, you see it is entering dress, and if you want to see which CSS selector it is using, you can see it here, right? Dot sc underscore input. This is what we have given in our code. Okay, so you can see it here. What is the CSS selector we have used? So now you understand how you can use ID and how you can use class. Okay, the next thing is attribute. Okay, so how you can use CSS selector attribute. Okay, so we can use attribute to create a CSS selector. So it can be value, type, name, class, ID, anything, right? So if we'll again go to the same example, so here you see class, then we have type, we have ID, we have name, so we have one placeholder also. So all these are one attribute. So we understand how to use this class and how to use this ID. So in this case, now you will use attribute as name attribute. Okay, you can even use type attribute, no problem. We'll use this name attribute. So just copy this and again Control F, and what you need to do here, how you will use it, you have already seen, we have used it for this one, right? Here name equal to submit search. So similarly here what you can do, you can just write name equal to search query. Okay, so this is visible. Even if you want, you can write this first field also, input, then name equal to search query. This is also fine. Okay, so now you see it is identifying this one, right? So we will use this. So this is how you can use attribute. So similarly, let me try this type equal to text. I'm not sure if it will work or not. We can see type equal to text. Okay, see this is also working, but it has multiple things it is identifying, right? 1 and 2. So we want it to be single one. So we will use the first one, that is name equal to search query. So we will use name equal to search query. Okay, search underscore query. So this is identifying only one. Okay, this is what we wanted, right? So let me copy it and we will paste it here. Okay, again I will comment out this one and let me copy, paste, and I will just comment out this one, and in place of class, earlier we have used class, right? Now we will use attribute, that is name attribute, right? So if you have seen here, what and all we have used, the first one is for ID, then class, then this is the attribute, name attribute we are using, right? Fine. So let us execute it. Just Control S and let me go to Cypress. So here you see it is getting executed. Okay, automationpractice.com is opened, and here you see what we are using, input name equal to search query, and it is entered the dress and clicking on it, right? So one test case is passed. That's all. Okay, so this is how you can use any attribute. Okay, here we have name, so if you have any other attribute you can use that also, no problem. Okay, so let's go to the next thing. Then we have softstring and inner text. First we will see what is this softstring. So there are three ways in which CSS selectors can be created based on the matching softstring. Okay, one is through prefix, one is through suffix, one is through softstring. So what is prefix? So it should like start with something. Okay, suffix is like end with something, and softstring is, you know, something in between also should be fine. Okay, so for prefix you can use this symbol. Okay, let me show you how we can use this prefix. So first we will go to this. Okay, and here what you see is we'll take the same name equal to search query, name attribute. Okay, so here what we understand about the prefix, it means it should start with. For example, it is a long text and you don't know, right? Similar things are there. So you want whatever starting with search, it should work, right? In that case, what you can write, so earlier we have used input name equal to search query. This is the attribute we have used, right? So if you want to use the prefix, what you can do, you can just write this symbol name equal to, and it should start with, right? For example, search and underscore I am giving. I am not giving the complete string. See, it is still identifying, right? And if I don't want to use this input also, this is fine, no problem. As long as it is identifying, this is fine, right? So this also we can use. Let me copy it, and here what we will do in our code, again I will comment out this line, and I will comment out this, and I will paste it here, and here I will just copy this, and in place of this I will put this. Okay, this will be single quote, right? So this is also fine. Let me just execute and show you. Okay, I'll just save, and we will go and see here. So this is running, and you see so this is the CSS selector we are using, okay, and everything else is working fine, you see. So this is how you can use prefix. Okay, if you have to use suffix, then what you need to use? You need to use this symbol. So this symbol is like it should end with something. So if I'll show it here again, name equal to, you give this dollar symbol, and here if you give like this, right, it will not show you anything because nothing is ending with this. But if you give query and just remove this search, you see it is ending with something underscore query, right? It is working fine. Okay, so we can use this. Let me go through this code and copy this and comment it out, paste it here. Okay, and now I will copy this, and what we will do, we will just put it here. Okay, again this should be single quote. Okay, now let's execute it, right? I'll just save, and here we see. You see, this is the CSS selector we are using, right? This is working fine, right? Now you will learn about the next thing, that is softstring, how you will use the softstring. So for softstring, again this is the symbol we need to use. So this is a something in between we can take, right? So you can take anything. So again let me show you. So here you see something query, right? So here in place of this one, you just give this star. Okay, see, this is identifying, right? Or you do one thing, here you give ch. So from search I am just giving ch, and from query I am just giving queer. So in between some character I am giving. Okay, see, this is still identifying, right? Let me just copy paste, and we will update it in our code. Before to that, I will copy this and paste it here. I will comment this part, and I will copy this and will paste it here. And in place of double quote I will give single. Okay, let me execute this. So here you see it is getting executed, and we will see what is the CSS selector we are using here. Okay, see, this is the CSS selector. Okay, it is typing dress, and all other things are working fine. Okay, so these are the basic concepts to use CSS selector, okay, to identify elements. So if you face any difficulty writing all these things, right, you can use some automatic tools like selector hub. Okay, I'll show you again. So if I'll just right click and inspect, so inside this elements, right, so here you can see one tool, that is selector hub. Okay, so you can use this selector hub tool. Okay, it provides an easy way to capture and inspect XPath and CSS selectors. Okay, so it is a great tool. It will save your time and will make your work faster. Okay, I have created a separate video how to install it and how to use it. I'll provide the video link in the description. Go through that for complete understanding, and you can use this selector hub tool also to identify all these XPath or CSS anything automatically, right? You don't have to write it. Okay, so other than all these things, Cypress itself provides the functionality to identify and validate the selector or locators within the tool. Okay, so it is a very good feature of Cypress. So this feature is available in your test runner. So Cypress provides an open selector playground functionality in your test runner. It will help you in identifying the CSS selectors for different web pages. So let me show you that. So here you can see this thing, right? Open selector playground. Okay, just click on this and whatever you want to get it, right? So just click on that. Now you see complete thing you are seeing, right? CY.get search query tab, and here you see the copy thing also. Just copy it and go to your code wherever you are writing it and just paste it there. If I want to paste it here, see how beautiful it is. So everything you will get, right? So whatever in the first line we have written, right? You don't have to write. Cypress is writing for you. Cypress is giving it to you, right? So similarly, if you want to get it for something else, right? Just click on this and then, for example, this search button, right? Click on this. See, it is giving you. So this is your only CSS selector, and if you want to copy everything like CY.get and then whatever in between, just copy to clipboard and paste it here. Okay, so this is the beauty of Cypress. This is a very good feature of Cypress. Let me remove this. Okay, so that's all for today. This is how you can use locators in Cypress and identify different web elements. Okay, so in our next video we'll see how to interact with GUI elements in Cypress. Hope this video is helpful for you. Thank you. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comment section. I'll try to explain it. Please like, share and subscribe to my channel.